All right, so I have 2 minutes after the ServiceNow team. Are we good to go ahead and get started?
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. So good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, if it's afternoon for you. Welcome. My name is Aaron Bennett. I'm a Tech Alliances Manager here at ServiceNow, and I have the pleasure to introduce to you the Puppet team. Our friends and tech partners at Puppet are going to be covering the capabilities they've built for the ServiceNow platform, and these are available in the Now Store if you're interested in these after the session. We'll be fielding questions throughout the chat today, or throughout the webinar today in chat, and we'll Milad and Molly will try to answer them in the flow of the presentation, but we may hold some of them to the end depending on complexity. Please go ahead and ask questions as soon as you have them. We'll try to get to all of them in the time allotted. At the end of the event, we're going to have a replay of the recording available. So you can, if you did sign up for this and you missed it, welcome to you as well. So now I go ahead and introduce our presenters for today. Molly Ertl's a principal product manager at Puppet. She's worked in closely with the integration team and obviously many other areas. She doesn't just focus on integrations, but she's had a lot of experience in building what Puppet has to offer so far. And then Milad Qureshi is a senior software engineer on the integrations engineering team at Puppet. He's a certified ServiceNow admin developer, and he's been vital to these integrations that you'll see in the store if you go and search for Puppet there. So I'll pass it over to Milad and Molly. Take it away, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. Yep, so as mentioned, I'm Molly. I have previously worked very closely with the integrations team, continue to do so as it relates to ServiceNow. And then Milad will be giving our demo later in the presentation, as he is one of our excellent development engineers on the integration side. So looking at the why behind the ServiceNow and Puppet integration, we wanted to see how we could remove the barrier that previously existed between ServiceNow and Puppet. We saw ServiceNow as owning the process-oriented space and Puppet owning the action-oriented space, and found that by removing the silo between, or removing the barrier between the two tools, forcing them to be siloed tools, we could then use both in coordination with each other to capitalize both on the action-oriented space and the process-oriented space to really make a one-stop shop as far as DevOps go. So the first of our integrations is the Service Graph connector. So what the Puppet Spoke. And so what we wanted to really focus on here was allowing for out-of-the-box catalog items to be used by those that actually install our Puppet Spoke. So by doing this, we wanted to remediate manual tasks that we often see companies as having to dedicate a good amount of resources and time to. And instead, we wanted to build those out of the box. And then, as many on the call know, these can then be triggered via the larger flows. We wanted to allow that Puppet action engine, again, to be part of the ServiceNow process-oriented space so that we could really capitalize on those time savings. So as you can see here, we have many different out-of-the-box items, including managing a service, rebooting a machine. And this list is something that we continue to iterate on based on our customer feedback and where we can continue to adapt to where more users are using the larger flows and where we can position Puppet in order to help be that action engine. So the Puppet Spoke is available now on the ServiceNow Store, as Aaron had mentioned. So we have some more information there as far as documentation, et cetera, new compatibilities as well, if you do find it on the store. And then we also have the Service Graph connector. So this will be that CMDB mapping from Puppet into the ServiceNow CMDB. And where we really see this being beneficial is giving insight into everything that Puppet is able to read in from your managed assets into the CMDB. We also see this being very beneficial when partnered with the Puppet Spoke, so that when you're taking action and using those catalog items or those larger workflows, you're then able to do so on top of that enriched database, truly making those actions worthwhile, but then also having a sense of auditability and then knowledge of exactly what data you're running those actions on top of. So the Service Graph connector is also live on the store. And again, more documentation and iterations as far as the compatibility goes. All of that can be found in the ServiceNow store. So with that, I will pass over to Milad for our demo.
Yeah, thank you, Molly. I guess I will start with Puppet Spoke since we started with Puppet Spoke in the presentation. Just a quick review on some of the Puppet technology behind the Spoke. Puppet has a concept of tasks and plans. Tasks is basically a job that Puppet server can run on one or more managed servers. This can be anything like installing a patch, restarting a service, rebooting a machine, and so on. And plans are bundles of tasks that can be chained together. As an analogy for that would be task is similar to ServiceNow Flow Designer action, and plan is more similar to Flow itself or Softflow. Two really nice things about this integration is one, all the communication between ServiceNow and Puppet are through one authentication token. Because Puppet already has secure communication channels, so we don't have to worry about doing extra work to make this secure. All you need is one token and you are all set. Puppet, the other thing is, there's a website called Puppet Forge, which is a great resource for you, which is similar to ServiceNow Store. There's a lot of available modules there that you can go and use. There's so many built-in tasks and plans in those modules, so you don't have to build stuff from the scratch. You can just go ahead and take a look at what you need over there and then just start using it. And it's going to be better tested, and it's like many people are using it, so it's going to be a really great resource for you guys to use. Any question there? Okay, so let's head to ServiceNow. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so after you install Puppet Spoke in ServiceNow, you can type Puppet Spoke in the filter navigator, and as you can see, the application is available here for you. The Puppet service catalog is, when you click there, it will take you to the service portal. And we created a category called Puppet. And as you can see, there are already some catalog items being built here for you. So the purpose of this was to give you some example to see what can be done in here with Puppet Spoke. And we already built these ones because we thought this is going to be useful for customers to use. And you can definitely create additional ones if you need to. The only thing you need to do is to make sure you add all the parameters listed in Puppet for each task or plan you want to create here. Let's actually see how it works. Let's open one of them, which is this one is the managed package. So when you open one of these catalog items, you can see this form. The Puppet server is where you select what Puppet Enterprise you're using for this action. And as you can see, we support multiple PE, so you can have multiple Puppet Enterprises set up for your system and then use and connected to ServiceNow. So let's say I'm actually doing it on this one, and this is the Puppet environment you need to set. It is defaulted to production. For targets, this is really useful. We gave you 3 options here. So the node group is a concept in Puppet that you can actually group your nodes in your Puppet Enterprise, such as like you can group the group servers together, like if you want to make it easier, if you want to run something on group of servers rather than running it on one. Pull nodes from CMDB. You can, if you have the service graph connector and you already imported everything into CMDB, you can select this and then select the server from here to run on. And also we gave you the option to type the FQDN comma separated here. So let me just select one machine here. You can of course select multiple if you want, and then you just give it the name of the package, and I'm going to say just give me the status of this package. And after you submit this form, a request is getting created, of course, and then along with that, a requested item gets created. And as you can see, there's a update coming here. It says a job is currently running in Puppet Enterprise related to this request. And this is a link. If you click on the job, it will take you to the Puppet Enterprise. You can log in and you can see the results of that task here in Puppet, or you can wait here and the results will come back to ServiceNow momentarily. And as you can see in here, when you run something from ServiceNow to Puppet, it actually shows in the description that who actually submitted what from ServiceNow, what was the requested number, requested item number, and everything else here. And then, as you can see, when I go back to ServiceNow, I see the results coming back here in ServiceNow. So this is going to be really useful for many customers, because when I go back to the backend here, let me actually go to the requested item table. Okay, so this is the request we just created, right? You can see all the information here, and we have placed these updates into the activities, additional comments, so you can definitely communicate with the requester, or you can do whatever you want to do in that regard. And also you can attach this request item to an incident, like if there was an incident about a machine that you needed to install a patch on or whatever, you can say that you can actually run something here in ServiceNow, and after the action is done in Puppet, it comes back to ServiceNow, and it automatically populate this information in the requested item, and you can attach it to that incident, so it's going to be all in one system. Heading back to Puppet Spoke. So Puppet Logs is just there to show you like the action you've done. Like it just says this was a task, this was the result, the connection was accepted, the status was finished. So if it fails or whatever, you can see everything, all the information about it here. And this node group, like this catalog configuration, just to show you a quick overview. If you want to add anything extra here, you need to create a record here, and this is what it calls in Puppet, and this is what this is the catalog in ServiceNow, and that's going to connect these two together. And the node group is what I told you. It shows you the node groups that exist in Puppet. It actually imported once a month, but you can manually import it if you've recently added something and you want to have it here automatically. So one more thing I wanted to show you here is is the flow. So we have tried to make this as user-friendly and as simple as possible for users. So we have created some generic flows. So anytime you create extra additional catalog items, the good thing is you don't have to create flow for every single one of these. You can just create the form and you can attach it to the existing flow and everything should work. Like you don't have to do anything else. So we have one generic flow for task and one for plan. And we also created some subflows for you guys to use along with some useful actions if you want to build something more specific to your organizations. Everything is like provided here for you. Any questions about the spoke? Okay, in that case, I can show you. I can talk about the graph connector. So a little bit of background about the graph connector, about Puppet before we head to graph connector. Puppet is a configuration management tool. It helps you manage and automate the configuration of servers. You can install Puppet in a central server called Puppet Server. Then you can add servers you want to manage to it. And then you write Puppet code to define the desired state of those servers. Puppet code is declarative, which means you describe this desired state and not the steps need to get there. And Puppet will take care of that, the rest for you. The Puppet code runs every 30 minutes by default. And of course, you can change that if you want to make sure the configuration is in sync for all the managed servers. Puppet Server collects something called facts, which is essentially hardware and software attributes for each system. There are different kind of facts. There are generic facts called core facts, like serial number, FQDN, and so on. You will see some of them here in the demo. And also you can write your own custom facts. If you have something specific you want to track in your system, you can definitely write a code and write a custom fact to do so. If you're curious about facts, you can look it up in the Puppet documentation. Look up Puppet core facts and you can see what is available there for you. So any questions about Puppets before I show you the graph connector? Okay, it's really quiet here today. So let's see how it works in ServiceNow. So when you type service graph connector here for Puppet, you can see this application, and of course it is available in ServiceNow Store. You can download it, and after you download it, this setup page is here for you to help you set up the authentication token for Puppet. Define the initial set of facts you want to bring into the system and how often the sync is going to run. So it is pretty straightforward. It's really easy to use. You can just go step by step and set things up and start using it. And of course, we support multiple Puppet Enterprise support here. Like you can add multiple connections to the graph connector as well. So we have included this fact configuration table, which is a really useful table that when you click on it, and you can see there are a bunch of facts listed here already. These are actually the core facts I was talking about. As you can see, it says it's virtual, serial number. This is how it actually listed in Puppet, and that's how you need to have it here in ServiceNow if you want to bring them over. So any facts you want to bring over to ServiceNow related to your infrastructure, the only thing you need to do is to create the new record on this table. And set the name and make sure it's active, and you're good to go. And this will bring, and the next time the Puppet runs, the graph connector import runs, it will bring in the new facts for you. And after, so as I said, you can set like when you want this import to run, of course, in the import schedules. But after it runs, it actually populates facts under this facts table, as you can see. And like Service Graph Connector uses ETL to do the field mapping, and as you can see, it is grouped by the configuration items. And when I open one of them, you can see actually we have a configuration item here. We have fact name, fact value, configuration item, and Puppet server, which means what a Puppet Enterprise, a Puppet server, this data is coming from. So you can visually here see what is the Puppet server that manages this specific machine. Let's actually open one of these CIs to see how it looks in the CMDB. So Service Graph Connector, as I said, use ETL to do the mapping, and as you can see, some of the fields are already mapped here, like model ID, serial number, asset, and all these. And also, let's say you have some custom facts that you don't have a field here in the configuration item to map to. You don't have to map them. You can just we created a relationship here between the Puppet fact table and the CMDB. So you can just keep him here, and you can have access to it from the CMDB. So if I'm looking at the Linux server table now, and when I scroll down, I can see all the facts coming from Puppet related to this machine listed here for me. So if I want to do a mapping, I can just use ETL to do extra mapping for the new ones I bring in, or I can just leave them here and it's going to be visible for you. An important thing to mention is that the ingestion speed for the import is about 40 minutes for every 50,000 CIs. So hopefully that's enough for most customers. And I think that's it. Is there any questions on the graph connector? With that, I will pass it over to Molly.
Awesome. Thanks, Milad. So yes, at this point, we will open it up to any questions that anybody might have regarding either the Spoke or the Service Graph Connector.
Or if you have any questions about Puppet and Puppet's products, how these are integrated, we'd also encourage you to ask these so that we can get that information recorded for everyone who will watch this later. Okay, great. Well, I'd like to thank the Puppet team for their presentation today. We'll obviously follow up. Oh, Molly, do you have some? Oh, right. Molly, did you want to say anything about the additional information that's going to get posted to the webinar post presentation?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few different links here, and we'll send this out with the webinar as well. But we have a few different demos that we've walked through. We have some solution briefs, videos, etc. So we have a good amount of content here. And then if any more information is needed, you can obviously reach out to us. Rob Moore is who we're going to work our communications through. So Rob is very tight in here. He works on our alliances team. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to Rob Moore. Otherwise, our technical contact is on both the Spoke and the Service Graph Connector pages for both of those store items. So we're happy to help in any other way, but I really appreciate everybody's time today going through this webinar. I think that is it from our side, Aaron.
Okay, great. Thank you all for attending. Check the chat one more time. I don't see anything coming in, so okay, great. Good. Thanks everybody. Again, once again, look for the post recording if you missed this call. And thanks again to the Puppet team for your presentation. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.